3 storylines behind every sexual fantasy. Let's take those one by one, and let's do a little bit of a deep dive in those. So what's the first one again?
The first one is turning fear into safety. The ingredients of a fantasy are familiarity and fascination. So there's got to be something from my life, some kind of suffering, some kind of pain, something where I felt afraid. And then I'm going to turn that into arousal. I'm going to turn that into safety, because to be turned on sexually, you have to have a safety valve. There's probably more science behind that you can explain. But I mean, that is an imperative, especially thinking about partners. Like, if you don't feel safe, sex is not happening. It is not appropriate. You need to have safety in order to have sexual arousal. And so in a sexual fantasy, that can happen in so many ways. For example, in one of my fantasies, I was actually in the position of an orthodontist who is putting braces on someone else's teeth. And it's an act where the other person is being humiliated and I'm in a position of power. How does that relate to this? Well, it goes back to stories from when I was a boy, and members of my family intrusively kissed me and forced me to kiss them. And the mouth was a place where I was not safe. But if I'm in that position of being the violator, then I can't be violated.
Wow.
It's providing a level of safety. You might have someone else who actually has the fantasy of being humiliated or being abused. And you're like, Drew, how is that safety? Well, it's all in the symbolism. And for someone who's been abused, sometimes that can symbolize being safe from being blamed. If this sexual action is being done to me, then I'm free from condemnation, I'm free from blame, because I didn't do anything. So what matters is not actually the data of the fantasy, but what that means to you, what the symbolism is. So if you want to understand a fantasy in terms of safety, you can ask, in this fantasy, what am I safe from? Or who am I safe from? Yeah. For example, if you have been really hurt by men, maybe the fantasy is of lesbian porn and men are not part of the picture, and that's a safety valve. Or it could be a fantasy about men, but putting you in a position where you can't be hurt by them anymore. So it can really go in any direction.
Yeah.
What matters is the story that we're telling ourselves.